Hello everyone, and welcome back to S.A.N's Let's Play for A Link to the Past. When last we left off, we had just cleared the Palace of Darkness, admittedly with considerable difficulty. It is one of the harder dungeons in this game. So we also now know where the remaining crystals are, and that there are 6 more of them. If you check the map, the maiden we rescued has given us the location of the remaining 6 of the 7 we need. Obviously, we're going to be doing these in order, which means we're going to be heading south next. However, as we just cleared a dungeon, as usual in this game, we have a great many things that we can now obtain with our new item. So we're going to be doing that first, as well as those of you who remember from last time, I used up a ridiculous number of potions and fairies to defeat the Helmless Orc King. So we're also going to be resupplying. Good news is we managed to pick up a number of rupees as well, so we're going to be getting to that today. Oh. And as promised, I should probably show this off. I mentioned a combo early on in this Let's Play. I'm almost already dead. In which you can freeze an enemy with the ice rod and then smash it instantly with a magic hammer. This always gives you a jar of magic, so it replenishes your magic meter quite easily. A handy trick if you, like me, you like relying on magic a lot in this game, and you want to defeat an enemy like Hinox in a single hit. Some moblins here, but yeah, they just die instantly to the ice rod. Yes, these moblins have basically replaced the Blue Knights in the Light World. I think that Hinox wandered off screen. Anyway, we want to go down this way. So, you also remember me mentioning that there was a water dungeon in this game, much like the Water Temple in Ocarina of Time, though less infamous, apparently. That's our next stop. But we have a number of things to do before then. Alright. So, I should admittedly probably start by going back and getting the potions, but that's fine. You will remember that there was an island in Lake Hylia that we couldn't get to. That's because we need the magic mirror for this. This dark green murky lake is the Dark World's equivalent of Lake Hylia. So using the magic mirror, we can teleport back there and avoid getting hit by this shock blob and grab the heart piece and then go back in. Alright. That solves that. Now, how do I... Now, I have to... Well, that's one way of getting back out of that lake. Alright. At least I got the heart piece. Yeah. Until I go back and replenish my supplies, I'm going to be in relative danger here because, as I mentioned, the Dark World is much more dangerous than the Light World is. Alright. I'm going to take care of these guys because there's a trick in this game that long-term fans will know. And that is, if you charge at one of these trees with the Pegasus boots, I'm just going to take care of these moblins first. This one right here, I think. You get a free fairy. So, there we go. We're already a third of the way back to having our potions and fairies replenished. I'm just going to charge through here to avoid having to fight them again. Alright. Yeah, I use these 2 items a lot in conjunction, as you'll see throughout this. Yeah, that one didn't drop a... I guess it's not a guaranteed odds, but it's quite high. Oh dear. Apparently they don't want to cross that... I didn't notice that. The enemies don't cross the pools of water. Maybe they can't swim either. Though there's just a puddle. There we go. Alright, then... So that's where, as you can see, both there's two dungeons down this way. Alright. I think we have to go down this way again to get the next heart piece I'm thinking of. But I'm just going to pause for a second just to double check. Right. Sorry about that, but with a long list of things to pick up today in this video, I'm probably going to have to refer to my guide a fair bit. So, you'll notice, remember this area in the light world is our house. It serves a different purpose here. And as you can see as we go in, this a kind of Octorok style person sells bombs. We already are full of bombs, but this will become in handy later. So I thought I would just show it now. Alright, we want to keep going this way. Much of this will look familiar to you because we've seen this in Hyrule. Alright. This was the area where we saw the flute-playing boy vanish from. And if we come in here now, we'll find... yeah, I wandered in this world and turned into the shape. Yeah, this is the flute-playing boy. What has become of him? There's a small grove where many animals gathered. I want to see that place again. I buried my flute there with some flower seeds. Yes. He'll lend us his shovel. And the flute is a very useful item for getting around in this place, in this game. So I'm going to warp back there briefly. We'll be returning to the next heart piece in short order, but... Yes, I don't know why it replays this when you come here, but anyway. Alright. There we go. It's up in this north corner of these flowers, which is... good, because it lets us get the flute easily. Alright, now return to the Dark World, and you can... I think you just have to show him. Yeah, please take it. By any chance if you go to the village, please give it to the tired old man you will find there. Oh, mine is getting hazy. Please let me hear... Wow, Link played a full song, I think. Yeah. And he turns into a stump, unfortunately. But if I remember serves, we can undo that once we beat the game. A lot of the dark fates that happen in this game are temporary. Alright, we want to go down this way, I believe. So we have to kill these moblins. Ah! Freeze! There we go. Alright, we want to stand inside these flowers. Try to stand near as in the middle as you can, because these portals are tricky. If you end up in the same one again, you basically, if you can't move from the spot you teleport to with the mirror, you are automatically sent back through the portal, back into the Dark World. So this just saves a bit of trouble, just trying to line up the right spot. Apart from that, we have a very easy heart piece to gain. I do miss the later games when collecting a heart piece completely refills your hearts, but there's plenty of hearts here to fix that with. Alright, and back into the Dark World again. Alright then. Alright. I think I am going to go up this way to basically where Kakariko Village was in Hyrule. It's something else here. We won't be exploring it fully until later, but Oh, are we not even able to... Oh, we may not be able to go that way yet. I can't lift these yet. No. Okay, that makes sense because we need basically we need the upgraded version of the power glove we have because we're not strong enough to lift that yet. Oh, those trees that have eyes that follow you will sometimes spit bombs out at you. So just be careful around those. I'm going to try and take the long way around, but I don't think that's going to work. If not, I might have to do this by going back to Hyrule and then coming back. I think it's better if we go back to Hyrule for the moment because we've got the heart pieces, I think, at the moment. So there's a few other things I want to pick up, though. And we also have to show the flute to the man in Kakariko Village and pick up some potions, so I'm going to do that first. Alright. The Kakariko Village is the best place to go first because it is right beside where I want to show you. And it is going to make using magic in this game much simpler. One second. I have to kill these guys first. There we go. Alright. Now we use the Pegasus boots to speed this up a little bit. Traveling is going to become much simpler too in a short order because now that we have that flute. At first, we need to go talk to the old man that the flute playing boy described, who I think is just his father. Or at least that's the... Or I think it's his father or grandfather, some sort of paternal family member style figure. I'm not entirely sure of their relationship. I think it's supposed to be his father. I think so. And he is basically in this tavern, basically, what passes for it. I think this is him right here. Yes, I did. Why would you keep the flute? And if you will play its sweet melody for the bird in the village square. This way. Yeah. Okay. So yes, there is a weather vane with a bird on it in the center of Kakariko Village right here. If we play the flute for it, that does sound like a full song. I'm amazed they put that much effort in. They wouldn't have to. Yes, the weather vane becomes basically a dove, I think. Or is that supposed to be a duck? It's some sort of bird. And now, whenever you play the flute, the bird will summon the bird, and the bird will carry us off. I'm pretty sure this only works in the light world, though. The dark world, I don't think it doesn't work in the dark world. I'm fairly certain of that. It's been a long time since I tried to use it, but between the magic mirror and the flute, we can now travel almost anywhere in Hyrule with relative ease, which is why it's a good thing to pick it up at this point. All right. Yes, you'll remember that we couldn't get through this peg before because we didn't have the hammer. But now that we can jump down here. Alright, and we need the magic powder for this. And a little bit of magic, which we still have left, fortunately. Alright, you want to sprinkle it on this altar with a hand reaching up to an urn filled with a red liquid, which I'm pretty sure is blood. This bat, I think it's supposed to be a Vire, will wake up, apparently. I think we summoned it. And it has a very contrarian attitude to exactly how it feels about being summoned. But now we will get our revenge on you and get ready for it. Or is that okay with you? Yes, it's not exactly the most auspicious demon. Yeah. Now your magic power will drop by 1/2. Yes, there's a half meter above there, but what he's actually done is having the activation cost for all our magic. Meaning we effectively now have twice the magic we had before. Very useful at this point in the game. Alright, and because I want to go get potions, and it's a good idea to demonstrate this now, play the flute. That little bird can carry Link. And, conveniently, one of the points it can take you to is the potion shop. Alright. One moment, Oh. Okay, I assume you all saw that time, because it seems to glitch out there for a second. Not sure why that keeps happening. Something about the capture card I'm using, I'm guessing. Alright. I'm going to buy a green potion. Immediately. And drink it. Just to replenish my magic. And then rebuy another one. And then a blue potion. Alright, that burns through a fair bit of rupees, but I think we're resupplied now enough. Alright. So we have the bird, we have the flute, we have our magic upgrade. I'm just going to pause for 1 second again and just double check what else we can get, or if that's all. Alright, it was worth checking because there are 2 more things we can get before proceeding with the next dungeon. And I'm just going to speed this up with the flute again. Alright. We're going to go back to the portal we made at my house. And return to the Dark World. Yeah. We're going to be dimension hopping a lot more frequently from this point on. Alright. We want to go down this way. Towards the dungeon, but we're not going there just yet. Before then, we're going to want to head to where the desert was in Hyrule. It's something different here, which we'll be getting to later. But as you remember, when we were in the desert, there was a stone tablet similar to the one that we got the Ether Medallion from. And now that we've upgraded our magic, it makes sense to get the next one. I may have gone the wrong way. I did. Alright. And Pegasus boots. Alright, so we actually want to go down this way. Link strains so hard when he tries to lift that. Alright, this way. When you see an enemy, things are rather tough to kill. Okay, we want to go here. And use the magic mirror to teleport back to Hyrule. Yes, I did aim that correctly. Wow, that knight can see us from all the way down there. Alright, take out the Book of Medora. Hold the Master Sword to get the magic of Balmos. Balmos works similar to the Ether Medallion, except in the opposite element. That makes the ground explode with power. Despite the fact that it says the ground there, it affects every on-screen enemy, much like the Ether Medallion does. Yes, watch your magic meter. These are the more draining magic items in this game. Yeah, so we have 2 of the 3 spells of the medallions. Spell medallions we can get in this game. Oh! Okay, I have to go... Okay, see, that's what I said earlier, but if you are positioned incorrectly, in either world, it'll shunt you back outwards. I think I have to cross from this side. There we go. Just so you can see what it does in action. And that's with half the cost. It costs an absurd amount of magic to use this. I prefer the Ether Medallion personally, mostly because, like with the Ice Rod, you can then smash them with the hammer to hopefully get some magic jars out of it. It's more likely, because you obviously still get stuff by killing them with the Vamos Medallion, but it's more random. Also, I just prefer the Ether Medallion. I prefer freezing things to making things explode and go on fire. Alright, we are going to have a long trek in store to get the remaining medallion. But after that, we'll be heading into the next dungeon. No, wrong way. This one is actually surprisingly easier to get. And we could have actually got it before we went to the Palace of Darkness, but I forgot. That's fine. We'll just get it now. Ah. So annoying when they get within your sword swing. Alright, we want to head up basically to where Zora's domain was in Hyrule. Yeah, that bridge is out in this world. Yeah. As you can see, there's a few ways you can get through that gap, but why not just lift it? There we go. Ah, I'm taking a fair bit of damage. There is better armor in this game, basically, but we're not getting that for some time. Alright, this is a shop, if I remember correctly. Yes, but it doesn't sell anything of real note, except the potion. Ah. Well, I have a fairy, so it's fine. That's one of the reasons I almost never get the red potion. It's usually better to carry a fairy with you instead. Ow. Alright, you can shatter those. Is this anything? Yeah, Lake of Ill Omen. I seem to recall there being something of importance back in the Light World, actually, but I don't remember seeing that in the guide. Then again, I'm probably looking in the wrong spot, because we were supposed to do this earlier. I'll double check in a second. So throw anything, really. I'm going to choose this bush into this ring of stone. A giant catfish, who is a little annoyed that we threw something in there, is willing to give us one of the most powerful magic items in the game to go away. Yeah. This one is ground-based, by the way, unlike the, as you can tell by the name, Quake Medallion, unlike the Balmos Medallion. It is actually is far less useful than either the Ether or the Quake Medallion. Sorry, Ether or Balmos, because it only affects ground-based enemies, so it leaves basically all of the airborne enemies out of its effect, which is something I'm not exactly willing to tolerate in a big area effect spell like that. Alright, I'm just going to double check for a second here. I get the feeling, just on instinct, that I remember something important being on the opposite side of this in the Light World that we have to teleport to from here. But I'm just going to double check. Alright, I just double checked. My instincts were wrong, apparently. There is nothing on the other side as far as I could tell on the map, but just to illustrate this point, I'm just going to teleport back, just to be sure. And I almost die instantly. Yeah, okay. Back can I go? Alright. And to save time, and mostly recover my hearts, I'm going to use this little trick. Alright, we're back here now. So, with all that out of the way, we can move on to the dungeon. Like I said, there was a lot, but it's all going to come in handy The next boss is much simpler than Helmasaur King, but the game only gets more tricky from here on out. Oh. No, I don't want to catch it. I have... my bottles are full. Come back here. Yes, thank you. Alright. So with all those detours out of the way, but necessary ones, we will move on to the next dungeon. I'm also fairly certain that our 2 dungeon episodes are done by this point. Most of the remaining ones are long enough that I think we're going to be able to get... I'm going to get more than enough content to fill just an hour. Because we're almost at the half-hour mark just from that. But I'll definitely finish the next dungeon. Alright. I love this trick. Yeah. Larger enemies tend to drop large jars of magic more frequently. Oh. Alright. Oh. Slight detour. I don't remember what this is, though. It was a fairy fountain in the other world. Who's this? Take some rupees and don't tell anyone to keep it between us, okay? This is a reference to the moblins in the first game who gave you rupees but told you to keep it a secret from everyone. That's a nice little throwback and a much needed supply of income for us. Alright. You will remember that there was an area, a lake I drained in the light world to get a heart piece. This is the dark world counterpart of it, and it's the next dungeon. However, as you can see, we can't reach the entrance. Yes. Objects exist simultaneously in both worlds with similar shapes. That's why the 2 worlds look like reflections of one another, because they effectively are. If the form of a thing changes, it will affect the shape of its twin in the other world. Alright. That is the clue of how to get in here, and it's not a very hard one. I'm sure most of you have already figured out what it is, because you saw me do it already. But for everyone else, we just need to teleport back. Go back in here, because apparently someone reset this. Apparently I did that wrong. Imagine just being off a little bit like that and it moves. Alright. It was this one. Alright, we open that floodgate. And now... we go back to the dark world and we can now enter the dungeon. Yeah, as you can see, the lake on this side is also drained because the water is now flowing in here and is blue instead of green. Don't think too hard about that. So this is Watergate Dungeon, which, going by that title, almost has to be, is almost certainly a reference. It has to be, just by that alone. So this was actually the first water dungeon, really, in the entire franchise, because before this, dungeons weren't themed. But it was in this game. Yes. A very small first floor. I think that's it, actually. Alright. Some tricky enemies in here just for mobility-wise, such as those bubbles that bounce up, and these choo-choo-like enemies which just come out of the floor. I think they're called something else. Like, I think I remember them being called Zols? I'm not entirely sure. Paused again. Not when my recording is still fine, but yeah. My capture glitched there for a second. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I'll have to try and figure that out. Maybe a connection came loose or something. Alright. Yeah. These bubbles will bounce around, and there's a turret that spits fireballs out there, which is annoying. But I need to find a key in this room. There it is. That was easy. Alright, so we have the map, and no, there is something else on the first floor, but we have to get there elsewhere. Alright, I'll use the ether medallion on all of these, just to speed this up a little bit. Yeah, okay. Ah, timed that poorly. Alright, these flame serpents, I think is what they're called, or something along those lines, are a little annoying, because as you can see, they can... but basically they're indestructible, and they're just hazards more than enemies. Alright. There we go. That's the key we need. This dungeon isn't exactly linear, but it's not nearly as difficult as some of the later ones. Alright. Let's flip this switch. There's a bit of adjusting water levels in this, but it isn't as infamous as the water temple apparently was, which I never realized playing it as a child, because I didn't find it that difficult. But apparently I learned later that a lot of people did have difficulty with it. Oh well. Interesting. There's no point in doing that. Alright. Yeah. I'm not sure why my capture seems to be lagging so much. I actually... I'm playing on a separate screen, obviously, but I'm looking at my computer screen to watch the recording, and because it works just as well, because I have it on my... capturing it from my computer itself through OBS. But it's odd that it keeps lagging, because I can basically see it. It's odd because I can see it still moving on my other screen here, but it freezes here. All right, we're gonna spend an awful lot of time in this room because this is basically like the main junction for this entire dungeon. Obviously, we don't have the key yet for that, but we're going to get it shortly, I think. All right. These kind of fish-like enemies aren't too annoying because because their path is almost completely linear. So as long as you let them come out first, they're not that big of a deal. Unless you... The main problem is, I think... Oh. I thought they continued moving even if they're off screen, but I guess it doesn't. Alright. Okay. Hang on a second. What was the point of that loop? Because it didn't seem to serve a purpose. Unless it has something to do with those blocks. Moving them might cause a chest to appear. That sometimes happens in this game. Alright. Yes, that is correct. I'm glad I remember that. Alright, so we have the compass. I'm pretty sure the boss is on the bottom floor. No, it's not that way. I forgot. Okay. So, with that, we can continue. Some people actually complain about getting the compass in this game. I suppose it's because it doesn't point to treasure chests in this game like it does in the other ones. As soon as you enter a room with a treasure chest, the map just tells you. I still like having it. And more ether magic. There we go. Yes, as you can see, more colored blocks that we have, colored pegs we have to move up and down with a switch. Alright. Always check through here, because there's usually a key, yeah, which we need to progress. Alright. Alright, I assume there's a way to get to there. from the other room, because we can't progress this way. Not only is this room just how big it is, it's there it goes again. Alright, I'm going to actually just pause for a second just to see if I can fix that, because it is getting annoying. Alright, I unplugged everything from my capture card and plugged them all back in. I hope that fixes the problem. I'll try to find a more permanent solution going forward, but for the moment that should be fine, I hope. That's annoying. Alright. I'm pretty sure we have to throw a bomb over that because the sword blast won't fit. There we go. Alright, and move around. There we go. There we go. Alright, we should also be able to just go through here now, yes. Alright, that lone skull over there looks important. It is not. It is a trap. Fortunately, a poorly planned one. Ow. Ow. I take more damage from just traps and hazards in this game than I do from any monster. I say that, then again, it took me 2 tries and all my resources both times to kill the Helmosaur King. But he is definitely one of the harder bosses in this game. By contrast, the boss in here is fairly straightforward. Alright, is this the one we have to move? Yes, okay. Alright. I knew there was one of those formations that you have to, blocks that you have to move one of to get through. Turns out it's this one. Ah! Alright, that way, that way. And now we need to go back up the stairs to the other room on the first floor. The only other room on the first floor. Which is another wide open area. Okay, this is one of those times when we have to drop down from above, I'm fairly certain. There we go. There we go. Let's continue to find uses for the boomerang, and the item that I constantly... basically, I just make fun of it for kind of not being as useful as all the other magical items you acquire in this game. It's fine. It's just... it's limited use. Alright. That was a pointless detour. I'm pretty sure we need to get one of those then. Alright, back up we go. I say pointless, rubies are useful in this game. Especially going forward. There's going to be at least, I think at least 3 heart pieces that are part of like games of chance, if memory serves. Alright. I also have to remember to flip that switch back. Alright, so I have to backtrack a little bit. Back through here. Like I said, we go through this central room a lot. Ah, alright. Another use for the boomerang. The item which I don't dislike it. It's just it's boring compared to some of the other items. So I guess I'm kind of almost making fun of myself for making fun of it. Why not? Maybe it'll become a running, early running joke on the channel. Well, it's actually surprising. Ironically, the boomerang is more useful in this game than it is in a lot of the later ones. Yeah, because, well, in Ocarina of Time, it's used early on, but that's about it. In Twilight Princess, it's surprisingly useless, despite the fact it creates tornadoes. Wind Waker's was fine because it could target multiple enemies. I remember that. And items, too. And I guess the best it was in was probably one of the handheld DS games, Phantom Hourglass. I just remember it often being replaced with better items, like the hookshot or the beetle. I think it just came down to the fact that it just wasn't as interesting as some of the other items, is the problem. Alright, there goes my long tangent on the boomerang in the history of Zelda games. There you go. Bit of bonus content for you in this video. Alright. Let's go get... Well, ironically, now that I've said that, defending the boomerang, we're basically about to replace it altogether, I think. There you go. I knew there was a reason I was bad-mouthing it, not just personal dislike of the fact that it doesn't live up to some of my favorite items in this game, like the ice rod or the ether medallion. We got the hookshot, which apparently goes boing, according to this. You can grapple many things. This is actually the hookshot's first ever appearance in the franchise, I'm fairly certain. I didn't think it ever showed up before this. I say that, this is only the third game in the series. Alright. You can go by, and then I'll jump down. Alright. Yeah. So, yeah, we want to go north end of this. And there we go. Obviously, the hookshot is a surprisingly useful traversal item. I suppose I shouldn't say surprisingly useful. Oh. Oh, gee. Alright, it's also good for taking care of these things, because it does a bit more damage. Ironically, it won't hurt them when they're, Oh, maybe it does. Maybe I'm just missing. They're harder to hit when they're small. So, I don't... There we go. Okay. I'm pretty sure we have to go downstairs, down to the bottom basement, and then up again to get to the boss. But let's see what's in these chambers first. Oh. A lot of enemies. It's not one of the ones you have to pull the tongue out of. Those statues occasionally have... Oh, dear. Oh, there's multiple ways down. I didn't remember that. Alright. Now, let's take a look at this. Okay, I see. Again, we have to adjust the water level again. Which again, it just continues the fact that I'm a little baffled that people found the water temple difficult. I mean, this has the exact same mechanic. I think it's just bouncing off the wall. Now that I actually to look at that. I suppose this is a more 2D top-down view, whereas in Ocarina of Time it was in 3D. That may have been confusing. I just remember like an official apology being stated from Nintendo for designing one of the most interesting dungeons in one of their best games. It was like, wait, what? Seriously? That was my reaction. That was my first. Okay, it jumped a little bit there, but I think that was just me taking damage a little bit. Alright. As long as it doesn't freeze again, I think we're fine. I say that, and oh no, it just lagged again. Okay. It's annoying that that's happening. Wait, where does that other... Where does that other staircase go? I hate the fact that those things respawn every time you move floors. See, this goes down. I guess it's to a different room. Ah, yes. I see. Actually, if I remember correctly, I don't... I was... No, I may be remembering a later dungeon that I had difficulty getting through because I often forgot to go a specific way. You know, these just go into the same room. Yeah. Long corridors like this are where those fish-like enemies. These are a bit of a problem, as you can see. I'm just gonna duck around this corner because those bubbles can only bounce so many times. Alright, let's go in here. Yeah, I didn't think this was the way up. I'm hoping to gain some hearts. Never mind, I'm going to croak and use a fairy. And my screen lagged again. Okay, that's getting really irritating. I know that is showing up on the video because I've seen it there a few times. I'm going to have to look into that. I'm gonna have to look into that. You don't let me know if it's really bothering you or not. I don't know if it's taking away from the enjoyment of the video or not. I'm still gonna probably try and figure out why that's happening. Alright. This might end up being a bit of a shorter video. Because, like I said, this dungeon isn't that complicated. Ah, yes, I remember this room. This is a strong current, and we have to swim to get this. Because that's the key we need. Okay. There's very little... There's nothing left of this, really, except going to this little balcony here. Blowing a hole in this wall. And go in here. We do need the hook shot to take down this boss, like most of the other ones. We need the item in the dungeon to defeat the boss in that dungeon. Hearts, please. Hearts, please. Oh, there's a few. Why were they giving me bombs, arrows? Completely useless in this dungeon. Especially at this point. I don't need more. There we go. Lags again. I'm navigating by my second screen at the moment, but... Yeah. Oh, wow. This is a long one. You didn't see it, but I basically swam all the way down to the bottom of the screen avoiding these things. Things while I waited that to continue. I hope it doesn't happen during the boss fight. Alright, let's start. This is Argus, who's basically a jellyfish with one eye and a bunch of puffballs surrounding him. The goal to this is fairly straightforward. Just use the hook shot to pull the puffballs off him, and then hit him with your sword. Like most bosses by this point in the game, he has a second phase. Yeah, you actually catch them often while they're doing that spin attack of his. Alright. The main danger to this boss fight isn't him, it's the cramped room. And apparently, if my game decides to lag again, because that'll be annoying in a boss fight. I will basically have to pause and wait till it to stop. Alright. We don't need the hookshot for the remainder of this, so I'm going to switch to the potion because I'm out of... My fairy has already been used up. Yeah. The easiest way to deal with his second phase is just to charge up a spin attack and try to direct yourself in the course of him and then release it. He doesn't have a lot of health after that, so an easy victory. Which is nice considering how hard the Helmasaur King was for me to fight. Yeah, so she's going to fill us in a little bit on the Triforce. And it fulfills their wishes as long as that person lives. Yeah. There's Ganondorf, and this is actually where his name is first used, the name for the mortal form of Ganon is used for the first time. You can go between the two worlds and find the evils hidden in the Dark World. You are the only one who can destroy Ganondorf, the thief. No, Ganon, the king, the evil king of darkness. The evil king of darkness is a little redundant. Still redundant. All right. Probably going to go just a little longer because I want to replenish the fairy I used. And after that, well, you remember I mentioned that, okay, it seems to be mostly happening at some points where I think something very significant in the game happens, like I take damage or something like that. Some sort of input that the capture card's having a hard time processing while the game is doing it fine. Alright, I'll try and figure that out in between this episode and the next one. Because it's never lagged this bad before. Alright. Ow! Yeah, those the Venus Flytrap style enemies do a ridiculous amount of damage compared to everything else around here. They are actually one of the deadliest enemies in this game. Fortunately, they're very easy to avoid. Alright. I'm not going to bother pausing the recording again because I just want to get to the area where the last heart piece I can find is. Yep. I just needed to remember this. I know it is now. It's actually where we got a previous one. Where we completed the race to get that heart piece next to Kakariko Village. We have to go to the Dark World counterpart of that person. I'm probably going to get this one off screen. And I'm going to explain why. Because this one is... You remember I mentioned earlier that there are some games of chance where we have to pay rupees for. Basically, you have to pay rupees, and you get, as a reward, you have a chance of winning a heart piece. This is one of those. Unfortunately, they are completely random, which means I could spend basically as much time as this video has gone by already, which is 54 minutes, just to get it. I know one of them is very hard, and it's basically just a series of treasure chests, and you only get to open, I think, it's like a row upon row of treasure chests, and you can only open one, or something like that. And it is very annoying. It's this way. This isn't that one. But, oh, it's down here. basically, this individual here is going to charge you 80 rupees to dig up spots in this garden back here with a shovel he's holding to dig up a heart piece. It is completely random, and you have 30 seconds to do it in. I could very easily run out of rupees doing this, or I could just make enough to continue doing it again and again. So I'm going to show you the first attempt at this, and then I'm probably going to end the video there, continue playing the game to get the heart piece, and then we'll pick up afterwards, because this is going to take forever otherwise. Yeah, any treasure I get. It's only 8 rupees to play. I have plenty of rupees. Yeah. Press the Y button to dig. Yeah, this is completely random. And you can only dig things up in the 30 seconds. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Like I said, it takes... This is completely random because it can take multiple tries. I also think I have to leave the screen to refresh it all, because otherwise I could just play again without digging in those spots, because I'm positive I have to come back again. I'll be waiting for you. Yeah. So that's basically it. I'm going to keep playing because I want to get that heart piece. But apart from that, nothing else is going to happen in this video, so I think this is a good place to call it. I suppose I could keep playing and record the whole thing, but it's literally just going to me doing that, so there's not much point. So, thank you for watching, everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you here next time, where we continue our adventures through Hyrule and the Dark World. Thank you, everyone.